What's going on YouTube? Zero Lead here, and I'm back again with a new video, episode 72 of the Disco Era u.s.s Enterprise tutorial. I just want to thank you very much for tuning into today's video, and if you haven't, please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button helping me and supporting the channel. I can't thank you enough for that. And today we got about a 30-minute video. We're going to hop right into it. We're going to be working on our crew quarters today. So you can see we're up on deck 7 of our saucer section. We're going to go through the doors and we're going to take our first right down our main circular corridors. And we're going to go all the way down until we get to the middle point, which is right here. So now we're on the right side, midway point. And this is where we're going to start building out our quarters. So one of the things I wanted to do on this ship, because I mean they really don't show the crew quarters on the Enterprise all that much. So kind of what I did was I just based it kind of like how a quarters, general crew quarters would be like on an aircraft carrier, for example. It's not practical to have 50 different independent rooms unless it's on a Galaxy class starship. Yeah, then you've got enough room at that point where everybody can have their own bedroom. But in this case, on it's a smaller scale ship, I think it's just more practical to have it all together in one room. So that's kind of what we're going to be doing today. We've got our sea lanterns down now, so we've got a little bit of lighting in here. And now I'm going off of the corridor wall. You see I'm building just right off this first red strip and bring this all the way down, even though if we're not going to use all of this space that we're marking off, just trying to get an idea of how much room I want to actually take up. Because we have some room to use as we go. Slowly but surely, we're going to be filling in these empty areas on the saucer section to wrap this thing up. But so we can take a bit of room if we want to, but at the end of the day, we don't need to make this bigger than it needs to be. I think what I have roped off at this point is a little generous. We're not gonna, I don't think we're gonna land on this. And you can see that I'm just like we've done in or will do in other builds. I'm gonna go all the way down with a cut that we're doing right here on the floor. Just gonna watch how far I go over with the flooring. We're about to hit the second cut. And we're still going. And once I finish this side, we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Now I'm building down here, but at this point, we're not going to be building this far down because we really don't have a lot of room to work with. But you can see I'm just going to fill in all the floor. Wherever I decide to put a wall in, we'll just wall it off wherever we need to. Now I'm just going to bang out this side. But I've been having definitely a couple of questions as far as different stuff you would, everybody would like to see me build on here. I've had some people asking if I'm going to be building the mess hall. And I actually did build a mess hall over this past weekend. And we've got the Arbitrarium. I always pronounce that wrong, but kind of like the greenhouse room. We've got that coming up. And also captain's quarters, admiral's quarters, conference room. I actually did that over the weekend too. Captain actually has kind of like his own area that I'm working on, which is going to be kind of cool. But if there's any other rooms that I'm missing that you'd like to see me do, be sure to drop a comment below. And you never know if it's something I'm feeling, or in this case, if it's something that's actually on the Enterprise, then I'll probably add it in. I think the only thing that this Enterprise is not going to have that I don't know if only the Constitution refit had it or if the original Enterprise had it, but I know the Constitution refit had a swimming pool. And it's got it on my Enterprise A, but I don't think we're going to do it for this enterprise. I could be wrong. If I am, let me know in the comments section. But I think on at least this version of the Enterprise, since I have that on my other ship, and especially like that takes up a really large area of the ship. So we'll just kind of have to play it by ear if that is something that I'm missing. But if there's anything else you want to see, drop a comment below. Definitely always interested to see what people would like to see me build on here, especially while I'm still working on this ship, because we still have some stuff to do, but I've been prepping out my next build. Or my next couple of builds. I know that I'm still going to do Voyager. I just don't know if it's going to be within my next two builds. I've been working on the last couple of days a mock tutorial for my Enterprise D, and that's actually why I did not get a video out yesterday in Starship Evo. And I'm sorry about that. I should have a new video up this coming Monday. But I'm doing this mock tutorial of the Enterprise D kind of like to really prep myself to get ready for a larger scale build, because it took me a little bit to get that right, because especially on that ship, the neck is hands down the hardest part about it. And I did a little bit of research too. I looked online because I just wanted to see what other people had done. And I on a smaller scale ship, I even a large scale, you don't see a lot of people that focus on the neck. In fact, it's hard to find a picture of it, and even the ones that I could find, they didn't really. Some of them didn't do a great job. I'm not saying I saw all of them. This was just the ones that I did see, but what I was able to come up with, it came out pretty good. Um, I want to hop back in what I got going on here. You can see I'm kind of like making these L-shaped flooring, and we're basically going to be turning these into bedrooms. And we'll be adding in windows going along the sides here, and then we'll be putting in bunk beds too. So each pod that we're making here will be able to hold two beds. And you can see I'm not calling this out as far as exactly how long and wide these are. I think that I'm going slow enough in the video that should be able to eye this out to see exactly how wide this is. This is a pretty simple and straightforward build. I don't foresee anybody having any problems with it, but for whatever reason, if you do, drop a comment below. I'll try to do what I can to help you out. Usually pretty responsive in the comment section. And we're just going to bang out the rest of this, get our walls up. And this is, again, one of the reasons why I wait to put my windows in, because if I had added my windows beforehand, I would kind of like be limiting myself at that point to build out my room around the windows, and I want to do it the other way around. I want to build my room out and build the windows out around the room. And it's going to be pretty cool how this comes out. Not every single pod is going to have a window, but kind of like going along the main wall here, um, at least three or four, I think at least four of them have a window. But the ones on the left and right side won't. But that's okay. I mean, and that's realistic too, because it kind of like, again, like shows like the pecking order, like in, you know, like a military setting. Not everybody's going to have like an upscale bedroom, let alone a porthole. It might just be an enclosed room. And also take into consideration, maybe you're like a VIP, maybe you need like a well secured room or something like that. So there's a lot of stuff to take into consideration when you're making some of these rooms on here, and we'll get into that. That's actually somewhat of a teaser when we're going to be working on our Admiral's crew quarters, but we'll get into that in the next couple of videos when we touch on that. And you can see I didn't do the pods yet here on the left and right. We're going to add these in just a second here. As of right now, I just have this back wall done. Now I'm going to start to shave out the left and right side. And I'm just going to literally repeat the same process that we did for the back wall. So this way, no matter which room you go into, they all exactly have the same design. We're looking pretty good. But no, I'm definitely very excited over the stuff that I have coming up for everybody. Still definitely some stuff left to do on the Enterprise, and then I've got my mock tutorial Enterprise D that I'm going to try to get that done the next day or two. Hopefully, have that out to you pretty shortly. I don't know how many episodes it's going to be because I had a few sessions that I recorded for it, but not all of them are very long. Some of them were kind of short. Um, but I'm definitely 100% planning on building the Cerritos from Star Trek Lower Decks, and I'm almost to the point where I'm almost certain that's probably going to be the next ship I'm going to build, because that feels like it's a proper precursor to the Enterprise D, because it's a little bit of a smaller build and it'll get me a little bit more used to building that type of angled ship, because a lot of the lines on it are very similar. I mean, if you take out the neck and you cut the size of the ship down in half, and very similar as far as the design goes between the two of them. So I'm definitely going to be doing that, and once I'm done with that, I'm going to be doing a full scale Enterprise D, and that's going to be a challenge in itself. But I'm looking forward to it, and I think regardless, it's going to be a fun build. Every build on here, they always they present their own challenges. You can see we got our windows going in, and that looked absolutely fantastic along the sides here. And as we flesh out the rest of our rooms on the sides of the saucer, we'll be able to add a couple more windows here and there. And really, that's going to, again, add in another layer of realism and just make the ship come to life just a little bit more. I think right above the window, I'm just going straight up. I mean, we could have that curve continuing back, but I think it looks cleaner with it just going straight up. Does not look bad like that at all. All right, we are rocking. We got about a 30-minute video. We're already 12 minutes in. We got about 18 minutes or so left. So we still have a few things left to do today before we wrap up today's episode. But it's kind of hard to believe that I've come this far. Feels like it was taking forever just to get to the point to get to this interior, and now I'm already over up to episode 72. I want to try to wrap this thing up within less than 100 videos. I mean, I really don't want it to even go up to 80 videos, but at the same time, um, I'm not going to try to limit it down. I really want to try to make this thing as complete as I can, you know, within the shortest amount of time possible, giving the best quality build that I can do. So that's the goal with it. We'll kind of just see where I'm able to land on it. Right now, I'm going to grab some green concrete blocks because we need a little bit of detailing here. And then we also have the green beds. Now, what we're going to do to make them stackable is that I'm going to put a row of blocks just above that. We'll have to take out the wall probably, but I should be able to snap a bed right there now. And I want to have it facing that way, so they're both facing the same way. We'll take that out. Bam, now it looks like a proper bunk bed. Looks like a futuristic setup. And it doesn't look like it's just floating there because of the wall, the way it's placed. Um, it looks like it's attached to the wall, so it totally fits. So I'm just going to repeat this process now and bring this all the way down until we've done every single room the same pattern with our bunk beds, and then we'll move on to the next part. But I'm definitely, again, I'm excited to get to the Enterprise D mock tutorial. And there's actually another reason why I'm doing this build too, other than to prep myself. But the Enterprise D is going to be a hard ship to build, and I know it's going to be a hard ship to build just because of the problems that I had building the mock tutorial, and I think it came out great. If you want to get a teaser of it, if you followed me on Xbox, you can definitely go on there and check it out before I post the video, so you can get a sneak peek of what's to come. But that's going to be something that maybe not everybody can do. And if it's something that you end up having a lot of problems with, that's going to be another ship that I would want to have a mock tutorial up, just so people can get started on something and get used to building that type of ship before they move into a harder one. And at least that's the idea behind it. So I'll have, by the time I get on the full scale Enterprise D, I'll have a little bit of content with that to refer to if you get stuck while you're on that build. So I'm definitely looking forward to some of the content I have coming up in the future. As you can see, a lot of stuff to look forward to. And if there's any other stuff you would like to see me build, definitely drop a comment. Doesn't even necessarily have to be Star Trek related. It could really be anything nerd related. Um, and you never know. If it's something I can get passionate about, I'll definitely build it. If something like I said, I can get passionate about and the community wants, definitely try to add it on the list of stuff that I'm building, because this is something that I'm gonna my YouTube channel. This is going to be ongoing. I really want to try to keep this going, and it hasn't been too much. I think I've been pretty consistent with getting videos out Monday through Friday. Every here and there's a day that I miss, but I'm fairly consistent with it, and I want to keep that going. And I definitely appreciate every single subscriber and everyone that takes the time to watch my videos. If you do, please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button when you do it also, because the more likes that I get and more views that I get, definitely helps the channel out. And as the channel grows, I plan on doing even more stuff with the channel as much as I can, and getting better equipment and all that stuff. But you can see now, hopping back in what I got going on here, trying to flesh out these two rooms on the left and right side now. I just got to double check and make sure that I'm working with the exact same pattern here that we had started with our other rooms. So on the side walls, I'm going to have the beds going up against the back wall. I think that's going to be the best thing to do here. And this is when this is done, this room is really going to help sell it. Obviously, there's not 400 beds, but you don't. I don't think you're going to need anything more than this. At the end of the day, you just need something big enough where it conveys that you've got a large enough crew that requires this many beds. But anything past this, I think, would be to the point of overkill. I really do. Because at the end of the day, especially when you're showing off a room like this, it's only going to be something that people maybe spend, what, maybe 5 to 6 seconds in the room. And if it's ends up being a build that you're planning on living in it, still you're not going to be spending a ton of time in this room as it is. So it doesn't need to be super super large, but at the same time, want it to look pretty uh, in the same token. I think this design here has it's a simple design enough, but again, it's very it's got a militaristic feel to it, which is very cool. All right, and we got the right side almost done. The wall. Have to get a couple more sea lanterns in. The rest of our bedding, and then we'll get some detailing and call this one a day. We also have to do our wall to the left. So I think the thing to do here is just build straight up. This top row here, I think right now we're doing this in the white concrete, but I'm going to swap that out to red. So if you want to do that now, you can go ahead and do that. Yeah, just this top row. Now we're going to start adding in some of our detailing on our ceiling. We're just going to continue on our grid pattern, a little bit like we've done in some of our other rooms. This will help to tie the rooms all together, having a similar design cue. And at the same time, we'll add in one or two things here just to make this room just a little bit different. I just made a slight boo-boo there. That back wall there where I told you put the red on top, with adding this layer in, now that's going to be covered up, so we're going to have to move that down by one row. I apologize for that. I wasn't even thinking about that until I added in this ceiling. This gives a nice little bit of detailing on the ceiling, but also serving another purpose is basically being our lighting. I think I got enough to do another one. All right, let's get that sea lantern in, and we're looking good. Now we'll have enough room to get one more on this side also. We got a couple more things to do. I have had people ask me from time to time on here, and somebody asked me in the comments just the other day how I come up with the designs for these rooms. And like for example, this room, like I found like a couple of pictures again off of aircraft carriers, and I did find a couple of pictures of general crew quarters, and they do exist. And I know that's how they had it on the older Enterprise. Even the Enterprise D had them. They did have mostly regular crew quarters, but in Star Trek Generations, there's a scene when the Enterprise D crashes. When it goes down to Earth, they show an area like it's a giant room full of bunk beds. So I assume that would either be like a temporary living area for somebody that's not going to stay on the ship, or maybe that's like basic quarters on the Enterprise D. But I was surprised still to see it on that ship, considering how big it was. But this one's still going to have some private bedrooms on it. We've got the Admiral's quarters, Captain's quarters, and then junior officers' quarters. I might maybe add one more other than that. I don't know. I have to see how much room we have after I get everything in here. And you say I can't build any further back than where we're at right now. So I'm just going to close off this wall. I'm going to build up my doorway now. Don't necessarily need to do the one in the middle, but I'll do it anyway. Now I'm going to hop over to one of my other doorways just because I want to double check, see how I have it. All right. And that's something you can do too. If you're not sure how you had it on another area, just go back and check it out just to make sure your ship flows as you're running through it. Because you can see right there in my bottom connector, I didn't have the red going all the way through. So it's just going to be one of those things. I'm going to have to go through my ship and go through the checklist to make sure all the areas are consistent through and through. Yeah, see, if I would have left that white strip how it just was, that would have been wrong. But now that's perfect right there. Now we're in the forward corridor. That one's actually wrong. Fix that one real quick. I didn't actually do that on most of these. But that's okay. That's something I do want to have because I think that red, just in the um, that point there, definitely looks better. I actually really love the color combination on this ship. I think it looks sick. It really does. Um, I was surprised with how well this thing came out because I knew that I was going to have to make the interior on this in some parts, a little bit colorful, and it definitely is. Like, because if you walk through uh, the Kelvin Enterprise, I mean, I'm not hating on it. It's a beautiful ship, but it's very white, and it's got a very simplistic look to it, and I kind of appreciate the different colors on this version of the Enterprise. But I think every Enterprise, they'll have their own unique color scheme to them. Like even Enterprise D, that thing, the colors on the interior of it, I mean, it's so 90s, like with the tans and the, the cyan, but still a very beautiful ship in its own right. Just added in a little bit of green in the floor here. These sea lanterns, we're going to replace, just cover those up with green carpeting. And I'm actually, how I have the green going in the floor here, in just a moment, we're going to do this up in the ceiling also. But that'll be the very last thing that we do here. We're actually almost done. We only have about 2 minutes left in the video. Other than these green lines here, we're going to do the red strip going along the back there, and then I think we're going to be done. I don't think really we're going to need to add any other color or anything like that, or any of the green stain or any of the stained glasses. I think this will like maybe be like the one room that we don't do it in, because that's something too. Like we don't have to repeat every single design cue over and over again, because you can see like I kind of go between them here and there to mix it up, just to give a little bit more variety between the ship's interior. But I think that green in there, I mean, gives the room just a little bit more color. Definitely has more of a retro feel to it now, just with that green. All right, now we're going to do the red strip on the back wall here, and that's going to be all she wrote for this one. But again, this is a very simple design how this came out, but I personally think the crew quarters on this Enterprise looks, in my opinion, way better than how I have it on my Enterprise A. And that's just, you know, part of the reason it's a different Enterprise. The other part of the reason is that, I've built this now a couple of times. I've just gotten better at doing it. But I think that's going to wrap up episode 72. This was definitely a really fun build today, and I just want to thank everybody for tuning into today's video. Hope that you enjoyed watching this video as much as I've enjoyed building it. I hope that you have fun adding this to your enterprise as well. And if you did enjoy today's content, please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, helping me and supporting the channel. I cannot thank you enough for that. And it really does help my videos out the more likes that I get, and definitely helps the channel out the more subscribers that I get. So if you tune in, this is your first video. I've got a lot more stuff to come in the future. And in fact, you can always catch my new Minecraft episodes Tuesdays through Fridays. And you can also catch my new Starship Evo builds on Mondays. Anyway, that's going to wrap it up for me. Just want to thank everybody again for tuning into today's video. I hope everybody has a happy and safe week, and I will catch you on the next video.